This video is part of the interview series and who are currently searching for a new opportunity and on the job hunt. Now, if you are in a junior or a mid-level role, that doesn't mean you need to click away. You can do these things as well, but it is extra important for the more senior candidates. For a mid-level role, in order to be successful and get hired, you pretty much have to do three things. One, you've got to have good answers at interviews. Two, you've got to ask good questions. And three, you need to present well. That's going to get you there. But that is not enough for a senior role. Exchanging information and having the right background just isn't enough. There are so many more great candidates at senior levels and the competition is fierce. I often really struggle telling candidates on a shortlist at CEO level that they didn't get the job because in almost all of the cases, every candidate on the shortlist could do the job and could do it well. So, what I'm going to outline in this video is the steps that you need to undertake to set you up for success at an executive level interview. In order to be seen by a panel or a board as a first choice, they need to not only do the things like understand your skills and experience, but your strategic implementation skills need to be understood as well. And there's really only one way for that to truly happen, and that's for the panel or the board to see you as part of their future. There are some really talented leaders who get stuck at a certain level and find it really difficult to break into the C-suite or that senior executive level, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. In almost every instance, when I've worked with a really impressive senior executive, one of the key differentiators is that they have a clear goal and vision for their career. Now, that might change along the way and it has to be flexible and sometimes changes based on opportunity, but I always advise clients to treat themselves as if they were an organisation. And an organisation can only be successful when it has a clear strategic direction and goals. Individuals are the same. Now, in previous videos, I outlined how to prepare for an interview and how to answer interview questions in the best way, and that advice still applies here. So if you haven't seen those videos yet, the links are below. You're going to want to watch those. But at executive level, there is one more important step, and that is to start getting the panel or board to see you as part of their future. The way to get them to do that is to imagine what their life and their organisation will be like with you in your role, in that role. So no matter how great your experience is, and remember, other candidates on the shortlist they're interviewing are going to have amazing experience too, if you cannot shift the mindset of the panel from your skills and experience to how you're going to take their organisation forward, it's going to be really unlikely that you're going to be the top pick for the role. So, how do you go about this? You need to shift the conversation from focusing exclusively on your experience into how you will fit into their goals. And that comes from asking really pointed questions. Things like, what does success look like in the role? 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 5 years. What are the organisation's ambitions? What are the key challenges that you guys are currently facing? And what's getting in the way of helping you to achieve those goals? What is it that the company wants to accomplish? Asking probing questions and getting the answers, you then want to take them through a step-by-step process of how you would help them to get there. So when you're taking the questions, take thorough notes and make sure that you address each and every point, linking it to your experience, but also coming up with ideas on how you're going to make that particular goal or challenge a reality. Often, truly great leaders can go 10 or 20 years without ever having an interview. They've been approached for roles by people who've known them, and they've built a really great brand in their industry, and many of their job changes have been the tap on the shoulder and a conversation. I often meet candidates at really senior levels who are terrified of an interview because they haven't had to develop those skills. Often I will say to clients that it's really important not to pick the candidate that just looks and sounds the best on the day. You want to look for the person who's going to perform best in the role. And one of the good things about senior roles is the more senior the role, usually the lengthier the process. So this means you're going to have plenty of opportunity to demonstrate your strategic agility, your leadership skills, and your personality. So one way to build really good relationships in that first interview is to reference and include members of the panel or board in your answers. For example, Jane, you mentioned that one of the key challenges will be XYZ. While I was at ABC Company, we had a similar challenge, and how I navigated that was, insert answer. John, you said that one of the business's key ambitions was XYZ. When I was undertaking my research on this role, I undertook a bit of a competitor analysis, and I noticed that none of the competitors in this market are currently doing X. This might be a great way for us to innovate and set ourselves apart from those companies and help us to move forward that goal that you mentioned. Now, do you see what I'm doing here? I'm including myself in the organisation, and the panel will psychologically start to see me as part of the organisation's future. That's also really important. You need to make sure that when you speak, you are always speaking in the context of the organisation and its future. It's far less important to talk about things like how many people you managed or how many groups you were in charge of, rather than the impact that you made. Often CEOs of really large organisations with thousands of people might only have 3 or 4 direct reports. So your focus needs to be on how you lead and how you will lead in this role. Talk about the impact that you made and how it applies to the goal of the organisation that you are currently discussing. Continually making that link will help the panel to envision you as part of the organisation's future. So let's go back to my number 1 tip. Spend as much time as possible talking about the organisation's future rather than your experience in the past. But you need to make sure you link your past experience, but framing it in a way to demonstrate to how you're going to be a strong contributor to this organisation's future success. So I hope you found this video really valuable. Could you do me a huge favour and give me a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel, because this helps the overlords at YouTube know that the content is good and helps other people to find our videos.